Rocka chicka, rocka chicka boom.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
Janitor style.
Janitor style.
I said a broom, sweep broom.
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 I said a broom, a sweep a mop, a sweep a mop, a sweep a broom.
I said a broom, a sweep a mop, a sweep a mop, a sweep a broom.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
Taco Bell style. I said a nacho supreme.
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 I said a nacho supreme with some extra sour cream.
I said a nacho supreme with some extra sour cream.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
One more time.
One more time.
No more time.
No more time.
You guys, can I get our state elected officials up to the stage as well?
They use pizza boxes to fuel their cities. The most polluted there is.
Fire hazard. Fire hazard. Fire hazard. Fire hazard. Fire hazard.
All right, good morning, Boise State.
Good morning.
All right, good morning, parents. Welcome to the 2019 Capital Program here at Louisiana Boise State. We are very excited to have so many parents and guests sharing our experience with us today. Even with all of the social media updates and live streaming events that we've had throughout this week, many of you may still be wondering what Boise State is all about. And although we can't fully explain everything that has occurred this week, it's our hope to give you at least a small taste of what your sons have accomplished. Boise State is a laboratory of government and politics in which we aim to challenge our citizens' way of thinking. We don't tell them how or what to believe, but we simply show them how our system of government works and how they can develop their roles within that system. Every citizen is elected to a city or parish position and tasked with projects or responsibilities in those respective positions throughout the week. And this morning, we will be sharing all of this with you. To begin, we will swear in our newly elected state officers. So I would like to call Drew Powers, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, to the stage.
If I could please get all the state officers to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support. The Constitution and the laws of the United States.
The Constitution and the laws of the United States.
And the Constitution and the laws of this state.
The Constitution and the laws of this state.
And that I will faithfully.
And that I will faithfully.
And impartially discharge.
And impartially discharge.
And perform all the duties incumbent on me.
Perform all the duties incumbent on me.
As state your position.
As Secretary of State.
According to the best of my ability and understanding.
According to the best of my ability and understanding.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, I'll now be turning things over to our newly elected governor of Louisiana Boise State, William Romero.
So I just want to take a moment to thank all of you for electing me as your governor. It is my honor. As Boise State governor, it has been a dream of mine since I first stepped on this campus and before I even came here. So I just would like to thank all of you. And now I would like to address the pending crisis that our state faces with Hurricane Daniel. Would the members of the press please come forward with questions about the state's plan to respond to this natural disaster? First, I'll give my address and then I'll open the floor. Hello, Boise State. It is my honor to be your governor, but there is a crisis on the horizon. A Category 4 hurricane is on a path to destruction. Hurricane Daniel is expected to hit Tangipahoa tonight, causing catastrophic damage, including damage to homes and infrastructure, and long-term effects such as the loss of revenue through the destroyed fishing and oil and gas industries. Though the majority of damage is expected to affect Teapunk, many other parishes, including Bogafalaya, Tinsall, and Pearl, may have damage from rising waters in the Central River. In order to prepare for the damage, I'm declaring a state of emergency. I'm declaring that this state will do anything to protect its people and rebuild. If you were in the path of the storm, we ask that you evacuate to the north. If you were in Teapunk Parish or Concordia, the state will be enforcing a mandatory evacuation. This would require that every citizen evacuates except for critical staff like nurses and doctors. These nurses and doctors will help man the hospitals, which will be on code red throughout the storm. The interstate to and from Tangipahoa and Tammany will introduce contraflow in order to facilitate the evacuations. This will make a faster evacuation process and less people in the path of the storms. I urge all of you to follow the law and obey the mandatory evacuations. In order to help these great parishes with preparing for the storm, the state will be providing more than $1 billion, $1.2 billion to be exact. This money will go to the parishes so that they can fulfill their plans to help with power dispersal, sandbags, water and food supplies, and medical stations. After the storm, this state will continue supporting its people, continuing reaching its hand out to those in need. The number one priority after impact is repairing important infrastructure, including hospital, roads, and power lines. We must make sure that these necessities are first met so we can help other areas. Yesterday, I promised to represent each and every one of you. In order to fulfill this promise, I had a meeting with all the parish presidents and their parish emergency response managers. In this meeting, mental health was brought up. Imagine waking up every morning to piles of trash in your yard. This is a true reality, and I experienced it in the 2016 Youngsville flood, and so did many of you here. In order to keep this negative experience minimized, one of my biggest priorities is the cleanup process. The legislator in their emergency response funding bill has made it possible for a parish to request more money from them in cases of unanticipated damage. But no matter the damage, we will overcome this disaster. The state government has plans to provide money to repair houses damaged by the storm. If home ownership can be proved through their taxes or mortgages of 2 years. For those who need places to stay, we will be opening temporary housing at our universities in Cameron and Orleans. One of my biggest fears of this storm is crime. In order to prevent a crime increase, more police officers will be sent to the ground zero. This state has a zero tolerance policy for looting. We are brothers, we are a family, we are not thieves, but givers. Like Pearl, Tinsall, Kane, and Chapelai in Mississippi, we need to be there for our brothers who take the impact of the storm. We need to be the leaders. Don't be fearful, but be prepared. This is the first of many issues that the state will face, but we will not fall because of Hurricane Daniel, because we will come together. We will help each other. We will help our brothers. These impacts are only temporary setbacks. The next few days, months, and years will not be the easiest. But today we embark on our road to relief, our road to recovery. So I'll now open the floor to questions from the press.
Mr. Governor, what is your plan for the residents of the hospital in Tchefuncte Parish, given that our only other hospital in the state in Bogafalaya Parish will also be hit by the hurricane?
So what is the plan for the Tchefuncte Parish and Bogafalaya Hospital?
Yes, specifically concerning the residents.
Yes, so because we're having mandatory evac with them, we won't have citizens in those areas, but we're keeping the hospitals on code red. We're keeping the patients where they are because transportation, since the landfall is happening in a few hours, we don't have enough time to transport enough of them to be able to make an ethical decision. So we will just keep the hospitals on code red.
Mr. Governor, my question is, how do you plan to reallocate Boise State resources from parishes that weren't affected as badly by the hurricane in order to help those who were more badly damaged?
Okay. So in our parish meeting that we had just the other day, I talked to each of the parish presidents, and this includes the Chapelai in Mississippi, which were largely unaffected by the storm, and they have pledged to help allocate funds in order to provide relief, including food and water.
Mr. Governor, how will Chiflecta Parish keep a sustainable economy after the storm destroys both of its oil fields and its fishing industry?
So how will Tefongta Parish recover from the damage done to its oil fields and fishing industry? Now, in the parish meeting, I spoke to the Tefongta Parish president, and this was a major concern. He asked for some funding and some support by the state government in order to bring back those businesses, in order to rebuild the infrastructure. So we will be providing that in order to continue to grow their economy thereafter. If there are no more questions, this concludes our press conference. Thank you.
All right, boys, I want to do something for the parents before we release to our academics, so you can all rise and turn to face. All right, boys, stay. Serve me up a hot plate of yams. You are
My sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray, when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I was sleeping, I dreamt I held you in my arms. When I awoke, dear, I was mistaken. So I hung my head and I cried. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray, when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Please don't take my sunshine away.
All right, parents, so just so you're aware, in just a moment, we will be releasing from the ballroom into our individual academics. Most of those are going to take place here in the Union. We also have a few over in Forney Hall. Our counselors will be roaming around, as well as the staff members and senior counselors. If you have any questions about how to get around or where you can find something, feel free to ask us. And citizens, just so you're aware, this will be your last opportunity if you wanted to go back to the lab store, get you a sweatshirt, hat, our digital yearbook, anything like that. This will be your last opportunity. Once we go to lunch, we're not going to be going back to it, just so you know. So without further ado, we'll begin releasing. I guess we'll start with legislature. So if I can get the legislature JCs to the back of the room.